is as close as I can get it, because before when I was trying, it came out like Yoda. Precious you are. That's what you're getting because of copyright. Hello everyone! Today I'm here to talk about The Lord of the Rings. Not a review. This is not a review in any... How can I even start to review this book? This is just more of a bleh. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about The Lord of the Rings. Let's not even joke about this one. What even is... stuff like that. So, I do want to start with a disclaimer that this video definitely will contain spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoilt for the Lord of the Rings book, then, you know, stop watching. I will say though that if you're watching this because you're like, oh, I really want to pick up the Lord of the Rings, because I have seen a few people who are kind of scared to pick up the Lord of the Rings because of the size, and granted it is a big book. My tip to you would be to break the book up. I did this book in 3 different goes. So I read The Fellowship of the Ring, and then I read a book, and then I read The Two Towers, and then I read another book, and then I came back to The Return of the King, and I found that was a very good way to do it. If you do it like that, then each book is less than 400 pages long, so it's just like reading 3 books, which isn't scary, is it? I really think The Lord of the Rings is a book that everyone could and should read. If you were wondering, this beautiful edition was published by HarperCollins in 2007. It was based on the 2005 anniversary edition. I found this one was really lovely to read from. The text is, the text's small, but it's not too small. You know, there are gaps in the margins. It's not too heavy, it's quite compact really for a big book, like its normal height. And it has beautiful original coloured illustrations on the flaps. So that's it. Okay, bye bye people who don't want to be spoiled for the book. If you're still here because you've seen the films and you think, well, I can't be spoiled because I've seen the films but I still want to read the book at some point, then go too, because there are bits in the book that aren't in the films. Okay, I am so happy that I read this one as soon as I got it. I knew that that was the best way to go about a book like this. Tolkien's world building. Tolkien. See, I told you this wasn't going to review because I'm not going to get any kind of intelligent thoughts down or anything that's particularly articulate. This is just basically me sitting here after I've read the book and just wanting to hug it and love it forever because... Favourite characters? Oh, how can you say a favourite character when there are so many gorgeous, fantastic, fabulous people to choose from? Of course, everyone's got to mention Samwise Gamgee. I really don't think that any of this would have happened without Samwise Gamgee. Samwise Gamgee was the only person in this book that actually made me cry. Some of the things he said just made me cry. What a loyal and supportive friend he was. Just made me cry. The ending, the last sentence in the book. Ooh, one of the great things I think about reading a book that has maps in it is always flicking to the front of the book and looking at the map when you hear a new place name. I do this with all fantasy books. I think most people do. That is what the great thing about having those maps there is for. Well, that's what the maps are there for. But what I absolutely adored about this was for a start, are you alright? For a start, it was how detailed the map was and just how big the span of the world is. And this isn't even the world, this is just the west of Middle-earth. Because we started off in the Shire, and then you hear other place names like Rivendell and Isengard and Gondor and all of those, and you can track their little journey. I loved tracking their little journey and just seeing the scope of the whole thing. They walked a lot of miles. A lot of miles. My favourite book from the 3 books was The Two Towers. That one was really fast, and I don't know, it just seemed like a lot happened in The Two Towers. I liked what was going on.
Your elf I see. The Uruks turn northeast! They're taking the hobbits to Isengard!
My favourite scene from the book. Do you know what I really loved, which I think is underrated, and I wasn't as keen on the way they touched on it in the film, was when Merry and Pippin were talking to Treebeard, and Treebeard was telling them all sorts of stories about the Entwives and what the Ents were all about. And he took them to his little place that he had, and they drank the water and they grew bigger. That bit was fantastic. I can see why it wouldn't work in the film, but in the book it was such a gorgeous chapter to read. So yeah, the great thing that I did would be to read the book and then watch the film that goes with that book so I can see a direct comparison. I did this with my mum, and although I was saying a lot, oh, that doesn't happen in the book, and I said to her, I'm really sorry, this is probably irritating you so much, I'll stop doing it. And she's like, no, that's why I want to watch the films with you. I want to see what's different with the book and the films, because she read the book a long time ago. So that was really good fun to do. The battle scene in this film always just amazes me. I think it's spectacular. So I suppose the last thing we've left to talk about is the ending. I think the ending is the dramatic difference in the film and the book. And I'm really glad that the film chose to leave the Shire unspoiled, because it's really devastating in the book. I was actually really shocked, because obviously I didn't know that Saruman was going to be knocking about there. The Shire was all burnt down, and then Sam with his soil from Galadriel managed to replant the Shire, and that made me cry. Why is it that only points in this book that make me cry are Sam? So as I said before, this was in no way a review of the book. If it was a review of the book, I'd talk about Tolkien's world building and the history and the characterization and so many different things that I'm not going to touch on today, because I just wanted to spill whatever came out of my mouth. Like Aragorn and Arwen's love story in the film, that grated on me a little bit, gotta say. Faramir and Éowyn in the book, beautiful, lovely. Oh my gosh, all the love, all the hearts. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more of my fancy quest updates, and let's talk in the comments. Bye!
Leave now and ever come back!